Ifra Jan joins us from Srinagar, spokesperson for the National Conference. Was security lax? What are you picking up from ground, Ifra? Hundreds and hundreds of tourists, very little deployment of security forces. What are you picking up? What went wrong?
You see, as Mr. Hasnan very rightly pointed out, this is a security lapse. We can go on criticize the BJP government because the security is not in our domain. But Gaurav, honestly, I as a political spokesperson for the national conference would probably love to do that. But today is not the time to nitpick on each other. Today is not the time to nitpick on our security agencies. Today is not the time to nitpick on BJP, which handles the security. Today is the time to show unity. Today is the time to come together, recognize that, as Ms. Tara very rightly pointed out, that we are almost in a war-like situation. Right now, if you were to ask me what is the Jammu Kashmir National Conference government, I would like to just brief you and everybody what we are doing. Right now, the Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Umar Abdullah, firstly, he was the first one to condemn this. He said this is beyond condemnation because this is an act of, this is an animalistic act. Only an animal could do something that has happened today. I mean, especially when you look at the communal angle here. Number two, what are we doing right now, the Honorable Chief Minister? Just right as we are speaking, just 30 minutes before, he was briefing the Honorable Home Minister of our country along with the LG. So there was a high-profile meeting happening where the Honorable Home Minister was briefed about what was going on. Number two, our Health Minister Sakina Ituji, she cancelled all her programs. She straight away went to the hospital where some of the injured tourists were taken. Right now, Ms. Sakina Ituji, our Cabinet Minister, is on the job ensuring that top-level healthcare is provided to those tourists who are injured and are recovering. The local MLAs, Gaurav, they are right now in the hospital, not just the local MLAs, but also the MLAs of surrounding areas. That's what the government is doing. One, I'm not sure if this is a glimmer of hope, but you have protests going on in Kashmir right now. You have a protest in Pahalgam. You have others coming up. Constantly, as I talk to you, my phone is buzzing with messages. One group is called for protest in Lal Chowk. Another is calling for it in Jammu. Third one is calling for it everywhere. I have never in my life seen so many protests being organized so rapidly by Kashmiris all around. One thing I would like to say, Gaurav, not just as a spokesperson for National Conference, that has actually lost 5,000 of its members to attacks like this, but also as a Kashmiri Muslim, that not in my name, that in no case can somebody do this in my name. I mean, forget everything else beyond politics, beyond our political divides. We are human beings. We are fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers. So to kill somebody and say, oh, because you're of a particular religion and therefore it's perfectly okay for me to kill you, this is animal behavior beyond condemnation. And I hope that this never happens again. And again, I say this, not in our names.
That's a very, very powerful message that comes from you and your party, Ifra, and thank you very much. The messages that you're getting, I'm getting them too from a lot of friends in Jammu and in Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is rising against Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror, and as Ifra said, not in my name. Breaking news coming in, more breaking news coming in. The Russian president has reacted. Russian President Vladimir Putin has also extended condolences to President of India, Draupadi Murmu, and to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the tragic terror attack that's taken place in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir. He said, and I quote, "Esteemed Mrs. President, esteemed Mr. Prime Minister, kindly accept the sincere condolences over the tragic consequences of the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, whose victims were civilians, citizens of various countries. This brutal crime has no justification whatsoever. We expect that its organizers and perpetrators will face deserved punishment. I would like to reiterate our commitment to further increasing cooperation with Indian partners in fighting terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Please convey words of sincere sympathy and support to the near and dear ones of the deceased, as well as wishes for the speedy recovery of all injured." That's the message that's come again from a very strong partner of India, a dear friend of India, the Russian President Vladimir Putin. So you've had a response that's coming from the US President Donald Trump, again seen as somebody who's very close to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and a friend of India's Vice President J.D. Vance described. And of course, from the Russian president. I'll get you more on that story. Dr. Tara Kartha stays with me, as does Ifra Jan. Sources are telling India today, more news coming in. Our reporters are getting you latest inputs as they come in. A close aide of that Pakistani terrorist and a UN-designated banned terrorist organization and individual, Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, his aide is responsible for the Pahalgam attack, is what sources are telling India today. Information that we're getting is Saifullah Kasuri, a close aide of Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, the professor of terror at Muridke in Pakistan, is responsible for this terror strike. Sources are saying that the deputy chief of Lashkar-e-Taiba plotted this terror attack because the effort of Pakistan's ISI is to get a spike in terror in Jammu and Kashmir, and especially as tourists come in large numbers. Dr. Tara Kartha, this is what sources are telling India today. Ifra, you know, how do you react to this when information comes in about lakhs and lakhs of tourists coming to Jammu and Kashmir, and especially to the valley, as valley prepares for the Amarnath Yatra, and suddenly this terror attack? What does this do to people in the valley, Ifra?
You know, if you were to look at, if you are asking me what are the other angles involved here other than the fact that this is a barbaric, inhuman act, if you were to look at other angles, number one, it's very clearly hitting the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. But again, that is not the point, because it's hit the people of Jammu and Kashmir, it's hit our identity. We hang our heads in shame today because honestly, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next generation, my generations will be asked questions. So this is not just an attack on the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. This is also an attack on the character of Jammu and Kashmir. This is also something, this is a blot that people like us will always have to carry, even though we have had nothing to do with it. So again, I'm saying, yes, this is an attack on the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. This is an attack on Indian government as large. This is telling us that we are in a warlike situation. And as I said, no words of condemnation are enough. I don't know what to say. The trail that you constantly been showing, it's actually a trekking trail. And so many of my friends are sending messages saying that they were on this trail just last year. And now, you know, this is not just put fear in the hearts of non-locals or other tourists who are visiting Kashmir, but also locals. And everybody is saying, oh my God, we were going through these trails. What do we do now?
Absolutely.
So there is panic.
How does one ensure, you know, terrorists cannot survive, and especially Pakistani terrorists, unless there are pockets of local support somewhere or the other in Jammu and Kashmir or in any other part of the country or anywhere in the world. Terrorists are like fish in water. If you drain that water, terrorists will die. How does one ensure that there are no, you know, safe pockets or zones for terrorists to move, or they shrink so much that they're unable to move? In your appreciation, Ifra, your perspective on this?
As I said, Gaurav, I have never seen this kind of condemnation against any terror attack in my entire life. Of course, people have condemned it. People have largely, like 99.99999% of the population is not involved in any case. We are all, as with any population, Kashmiris largely are a peaceful population. But today, as I said, has also been a sort of a reckoning which I've never seen. As I'm constantly telling you, I see so many messages coming in my WhatsApp right now that there are so many candle marches happening. One doesn't even know where to go, which one to attend. So this,
I think we should cover as many as we can, and I hope to talk to you more about this in the days and weeks ahead. But beyond candlelight marches, because I've covered candlelight marches after 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, I've covered candlelight marches after Akshardham and after terror attacks in Delhi and in Mumbai and in many other parts of the country. I want to cover more more decisive action against Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror, and wherever else, terror has a sanctuary, because if unpunished, it will only hit us harder. But that last thought, who are these evil men and what were they doing? Don't hear it from me, hear it from one of the eyewitnesses, what she underwent, how Hindus were singled out and killed in Pahalgam today. Listen in. I leave you with these images and I leave you with that voice. Don't let it haunt you like it will haunt a lot of us if we are unable to ensure that India is kept safer from Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror in our lifetimes.